Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is Game Freak's first attempt at an open-world Pokemon game. You can adventure across the vast lands of Paldea, explore all the storylines in whatever order you want, and discover a whole new world of Pokemon. But today, I'm gonna attempt to beat all of Pokemon Scarlet with JUST Phantump. I'll challenge every gym, topple all of Team Star, defeat each Titan, and challenge the Professor at the bottom of Area 0. All with one spooky boy. So if you enjoy challenges like this, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next one. With that said, here's the video. We start the story in our new home in the Paldea region. With a quick visit from the director, we grab our stuff and get ready to start our adventure. After a short walk with 3 completely irrelevant Pokemon, and giving this stray cat a false sense of security, we finally get our partner for this challenge, Danny Phantump. After we poke this duck with a branch a couple of times, we win our first battle with many more to come. After our mom gives us a very not important sandwich, we start to make our way towards a completely irrelevant lighthouse that has no plot significance whatsoever. Next, I take a quick side quest, giving a random dragon this sandwich I just so happen to have that gives it the strength of a god, and getting said dragon to escort me through the cave and back to Nimona, before collapsing due to lack of sandwiches. Oh, and fun fact, apparently you don't actually have to win this battle against Arven here to proceed. I know, because, I kinda lost. Yeah. So anyways, after we get our first glimpse of the school, we head onward to this tutorial town that has the sole purpose of showing us a Pokemon Center, which I completely ignore in pursuit of progress. One short jog later, and we reach the gates of Messagoza, where we have a short rematch with Nimona before making our way to the academy. But not before we run into some Team Star grunts, because why not? And quick side note, I never realized quite how funny it is that these grunts were trying to recruit the boss of their organization. That's honestly hilarious. Then we finally make it to the academy. One quick tour of the place and several mission assignments later, we start our treasure hunt, the solo run of Pokemon Scarlet with just Danny Phantump. Now, this game is quite long, so first we go take on the Stony Cliff Titan so we can get Koraidon up to speed a bit. We confront Big Cloth for Phase 1, where we Terra up to poke this big guy with the pointiest branch he's ever seen, before he runs away, like a little bit. After taking a few short steps to catch Cloth, we join up with Arven for Phase 2, where we poke him again another couple times to secure our victory, and claim the Herba Mystica to gain the power of running. And with that newly obtained power, we dash on to challenge Brassius for our first gym badge. His gym challenge wasn't too bad, but it did start raining during it, so that was annoying. All in all, not terrible. So we step up to battle Brassius, and he jumps off a building for his entrance. He leads with Petalil, which kept using Mega Drain, so it took a bit longer than I expected. Then came Smoliv, which I didn't realize is a normal type until Astonish didn't work. Oops. So a few tackles later, Smoliv was conquered, and we moved on to his last Grass-type Pokemon, Sudowoodo, which hit a lot harder than I expected. And Danny, a heck of a lot weaker than I expected. So yeah, I needed to grind a little bit. Then we got Will-O-Wisp, which is exactly what we needed to challenge Brassius again. So a short walk back, a few cutscenes later, and after removing a couple Pokemon, we get our rematch against Sudowoodo. But with Will-O-Wisp and a few levels, the rematch was more of a slow beating than anything. It took a while. And now, with Sudowoodo finally taken care of, we get our selfie with Brassius, get the incredible move Trailblaze, and continue this long challenge. So I kind of forgot that Brassius is supposed to be the second gym, and I was supposed to challenge Katie first, but I was already there after Cloth, so we challenged a Cortando City gym with the most challenging puzzle I've ever seen. Now that we've overcome this intense struggle, we take on Katie. Normally, she'd have the advantage on grass types, but since Danny is part ghost type, it's neutral. So after our astonishing performance, we get the mandatory selfie, talk with a guy named Hassel, and scoot our way to challenge the next Titan. Now, the next Titan actually has quite a bit of an advantage against Danny. Bombirdier is a flying dark type, while Danny is a grass ghost. I didn't really consider that before the battle, which I should have. Are you a physical attacker? I don't know. Block? Yep. With some tactical burn and potion stalling, we get to barely scrape by the first phase. But suffice to say, I need to do a bit of grinding before we give this a second shot. So after some failed shortcuts that I spent way too long attempting, we roll up next to Arven and show Bombardier who the real boss is. With a turn 1 burn, this Titan's fate's been sealed. Some quick math showed Terra Trailblaze was actually the strongest move I had, so after mashing the A button, we claim the Herba Mystica, make some sandwiches, gain the ability to swim, and continue on down the mountain towards our next gym before I decide to stop for the day. On day 2, we start off by going to challenge our next gym, but Nimona showed up and wants to battle, so we entertain her for a minute before challenging Iono, the gym leader that uses all her opponents for views and clout. Her gym challenge is a bit of hide and seek with the director. In between these rounds of Where's Waldo, we get to battle some of her tier 3 gym trainers, before we're allowed to grace the presence of Her Majesty, during which Danny gets one of the best moves in his learn set, Horn Leech. We receive our next selfie, and have a quick chat with Gita, and choose our next victim in this journey, the lurking Steel Titan, Orthworm. After a quick game of Whack-A-Worm, we get to battle this goofy guy. And someone needs to get this man some glasses, because he could not land his Iron Tails. He eventually uses Wrap after missing this 75% move 4 times in a row, which, by the way, is a 0.4% chance of happening. My man should never go to Vegas. He then runs away like every other Titan, trying to be a knockoff Super Saiyan just like Vegeta, before finally landing a couple Iron Tails against Toad School. But Danny really is part ghost, because bro dodged every Iron Tail thrown his way. After we take down another Titan, and grab more magical grass that makes our dragon remember he's only been short hopping, we finally set our sights on the first Team Star base. Now, I have 2 problems to address before attempting this. In order to challenge a Team Star base, you need 3 Pokemon, which would mean that I couldn't technically solo run this game with Danny alone. But if you watched the original show of Danny Phantom, you might remember he canonically has the ability to duplicate himself. And would you look at that? Danny Phantump also has that ability, which means we can take on Team Star completely legitimately without tainting the run. But that now brings us to problem number 2. Having played through this game, I'm well aware of how strong that Reverum boss can be. And Danny only having a base stat total of 309, I think it's time we grab the most important item in this run. I spent a while fighting the trainers in South Province Area 5, and eventually obtained the Eviolite, the most essential item for any not fully evolved Pokemon, giving them a 50% boost to both their defensive stats. Now that preparations have been made, we make our way back to the Dark Crew base, beat up a nameless grunt, and storm the base for our first attempt. Of course, getting a 30 kill streak was pretty boring, just a bunch of grinding, so I'll just skip to the fun part. The battle against Giacomo? I definitely butchered that. First, he sends out Poniard, which a Will-O-Wisp and Hex made him pretty easy to deal with. Reverum, on the other hand, was even more challenging than I expected. Not only does he have the ability Intimidate, lowering my physical attack, but even with an Eviolite, I still take a third of my HP from a single attack. And unlike with Titans, these can't be burned. So now I'm in a tough spot. Thankfully, I can manage to heal stall with Horn Leech and items. But what I didn't realize is that his special move, Wicked Tort, also has a 10% chance to put you to sleep, which of course he gets. So after a lot of stalling with potions and chipping away at the car's HP, we eventually managed to pull through and defeat our first base. Side note, Team Star has the worst storyline out of all 3 in this game, so since this video is already going to be so long, I'm skipping all the dialogue for your sake. Our next stop is a bit out of order, for a good reason. Usually at this point in the game, you'd be taking on either the next Team Star base or the gym leader, except the next Star base is a fire type, so I already know that's gonna be a struggle. And the next gym leader is a water type, which I knew would be an easy sweep no matter when I challenged it. So to have a bit of fun, I decided to challenge the Quaking Earth Titan, Great Tusk. So at this point, Danny is level 30, and I already knew Great Tusk had quite a level gap on me. But I still figured about level 38 would be good enough for Phase 1. Oh, how wrong I was. A single knockoff is all it took to take Danny down. I realized I didn't heal him beforehand, but trust me, that didn't matter. So after a quick reload, and popping some more magical pills, Danny manages to live a knockoff and burn the Ancient Dawn Fan. This lets us spam potions and Horn Leech to barely make it out of this battle. I then scramble to the closest Pokemon Center to stock up on potions before attempting round 2. Of course, Ancient Dawn Fan decides to power up off some edibles before getting absolutely embarrassed by Scovillain and Danny. Now, you know the drill. We grab some PEDs, feed them to our Pokemon, and move on with our day, now being able to fall in style for about 20 seconds. But hey, that's longer than you last in bed. Our next stop is for our second Team Star base, and it's the one that I've been dreading the most. The boss of the fire base, Mela, is definitely gonna be a rough battle. Just based off of Dark Rev Room, I expected a challenge. What I didn't expect was that Danny would get one shot, even with an Eviolite and being 16 levels higher. Yikes. So I give it another shot at level 50 with a few different moves, and if I had better healing items, I might have been able to pull through, but I took another L. We give it one more shot at level 56. We run through the grunts, face down Mela, shell shock her turtle, and confront Reverum once again. Strike him with the force of 3 phantoms, and finally get over this level 26 roadblock that is Reverum. Our next stop is at Cascarafa, so we can get our 4th badge. After a quick trip to return a wallet, and getting introduced to Bidding Wars, we sweep Kofu with ease to get our next selfie, and head to our next gym leader, Larry. Since he's a normal type gym leader, for the most part, there wasn't much to worry about, except his Staraptor. Between the Dunsparce paralyzing Danny, Staraptor's Intimidate, and not having healing items, another L was taken, and we have to give it another go. I try to save the Terra for later, which means I don't KO Kamala in one shot, I take more damage than I anticipate, get put to sleep, fail another one shot, and get our rematch with Staraptor finally. But since Danny wasn't Terra'd yet, we burned his ace and managed to barely win with only 22 HP left. We grab our selfie, embarrass Nimona in front of Gita, and select who our next target will be. We head northwest of Medali in pursuit of bringing the last of Koraidon's abilities back, the power to climb. We run and fly all the way to stage 1 of the False Dragon Titan, in which a few attacks make him run for backup. After he eats some super sushi, we take round 2 with Arven. We wreck Dondozo and face down the real Titan, Tatsugiri. But it's basically just round 3 Dondozo, where we throw a bunch of attacks and pull out the W. Now that Danny got to cosplay Levi Ackerman by eliminating all the Titans, we grab the magical grass, learn to climb, and cure Arven's dog of his illness. By far my favorite storyline in the game. Now, before we can move any further with Arven's story, we still have to take care of the other 2 routes to get the true ending. Next, we're going to take on the Poison Star base, since it's next in the typical level order. It's been 8 months since I initially recorded this video, and 8 months since I recorded the voiceover for it, I believe. Lots of things have changed. I didn't really like the way that I sounded listening back to it, but I'm not changing it now, but I will start with the video voiceover, so now you get me this time. So, let's continue with the video. As usual, at the gate, we get challenged by a wannabe grunt, who put up about as much fight as the box ghost.
Beware! I am the box ghost!
And up next came the 30 KO streak. However, the Danny clones were not up to par. So I was struggling. It was taking a while to get through this, but we managed to make it, and we got to get to the boss battle against Atticus. He leads with Skuntank, who has access to both Sucker Punch and Toxic, which really wore down Danny, before I realized I didn't have any good healing potions. Again. And Danny and I end up taking an L to the Rev Room that follows up. So I end up going by the store to grab some hyper potions. Along the way, we get some special material to make a TM, and then we see if we can bulldoze our way through this base. We face off against Atticus again, we take down his Skuntank, one-shot his Rev Room, and blast through his muck before finally reaching the Starmobile. And thankfully, with the power of Bulldoze, we were able to scrap it to the junkyard in only 4 attacks. Who knew type matchups could make such a difference? So, after skipping more dialogue, and legally downloading some more LP, we aim for our next target in this journey. We head to Montenerva to challenge the next gym, and we end up meeting the Moist Man himself, Charlie Penguin Z0 Critical.
Garfield likes lasagna, I like to make fun of weirdos. Big whoop.
Danny and his clone pull up to show off to Charlie, but just to make sure that we wouldn't taint the run, I made sure to drain the clone's XP before going into battle. With some very interesting lyric choices and a couple double battles later, we face off against Gym Leader Rhyme, spook her team, claim that badge and selfie of course, before searching for our next target on this journey. We fly over to Alvernata, we have a quick bout with Nimona, before going to test our emotional connection between us and our Pokemon. Joke's on you, I don't have any emotes. And I think the game heard me. Yeah, so it turns out when you're running Pokemon Scarlet in a way that may or may not be improper, for some reason, in order to get through this gym, you have to change like an obscure setting for some reason that I don't understand, but we changed the setting and it works, so I'm not gonna ask any questions. So after pretending we had some emotions, we challenged Gym Leader Tulip, claim that badge and selfie once again, and move on with our lives. Next up on the never-ending checklist that is Pokemon Scarlet, we're gonna take on the Glaciato Gym. But first, we're gonna have to go to Montenerva since that's the closest fly point that we have. So, after taking a stroll through this winter wonderland, we get to the gym, get jump scared by Nimona, who thankfully didn't want to battle this time, and we start definitely one of the gym challenges of all time, which is the snow slope run. But it's more like the snow slope crawl, because you move just so slow. So, after a grueling 40-second slide down this hill, we finally step up to challenge Grusha, the Ice-type gym leader. Now, since this is an Ice-type gym, and Danny is a Grass-type Pokemon, we're already starting off at a disadvantage. But surely I came prepared to deal with Ice-type Pokemon, since that is specifically what this gym is. Right? I should have brought like Rock Slide or something, shouldn't I? Well, too late for that now. I need to get you burned. And you outspeed. Now, of course, I could just shove rare candies down Danny's throat and then just forcefully make our way through this gym. But where would the fun in that be? So, instead, Danny and I run around to some Terra raid battles so we can collect some Ghost Terra shards to change his Terra type. We beat our first Terra Ghost raid, and we collect 0 Terra shards. Yeah, I don't think I want to play that game since I need 50. After totally legitimately collecting 50 Ghost Terra shards, we fly over to Larry's Cafe, exchange some rocks in order to get the ultimate power-up, and then fly back over to the gym to challenge Grusha one more time. But this time, things are different. This time, Danny is... We end up crushing Grusha like an ice cube. We claim our badge and selfie, and then we're going to set our sights on the Team Star bases before we go ahead to challenge the Elite Four. On the way to the next Team Star base, I actually swing by and pick up the TM for Poison Jab. And with our new attack, that is super effective on this next Team Star base, we absolutely destroy everything in our way. And we do actually take down the Starmobile the first try. It was quite annoying though, because it was non-stop confusing Danny. It was frustrating. After finishing off that Team Star base with 0 hesitation, we go ahead to the last one, which I thought would be a pretty easy sweep because it's a fighting type Team Star base. But they had coverage for everything. I'm not gonna lie, getting through those 30 KOs was actually a struggle. I had to go back and heal up multiple times in order to make it through. And don't even get me started on the gym leader of this base. I didn't even make it to the Starmobile the first try. I ended up losing to a Lucario with Dark Pulse. So, after getting Will-O-Wisp back on Danny's moveset and changing his Terra type back to Grass, I foolishly believed things would turn out differently this time. So, after storming the base again, and once again struggling to make it through the 30 raid, I do actually end up beating Lucario this time. And then Annihilate comes out to send me back to the drawing board, of course. So, after so many hours of recording this challenge, for the first time, I decide to press the emergency button. I stocked up on some performance-enhancing drugs, gave Danny a few pills to level up, and stormed the base for the 3rd time, and lose for a 3rd time. For the 4th attempt trying to take down this star base, I end up teaching Danny Shadow Ball, and then immediately end up replacing it with Psychic. Also, I can get around the Rever Room boosting its defenses with Stamina. I start off the match with boosting Danny's attack and defense stats, abusing the AI since I know he wants to go for Sucker Punch. We bulldoze our way through Toxicroak and Lucario, Hornleech our way through Annihilate and Passimian, and proceed to almost one-shot Rever Room with Hornleech because I boosted his attack so much. Some unimportant story beats later, a challenge from Cassiopeia, brings us to the school, where we come into the biggest twist of the whole game. Clive was actually Director Clavel the whole time? What? After we realize that the premier balls around his waist are literally just for show, and an unfortunately timed crit later, we stock up on more X items, make sure Danny gets his meds so he can level up to level 80, and then we go to challenge Clavel for the second time. We start off the match by giving Danny his steroids so that way we can breeze through this battle with no problem. We got crit again. We face off against Clavel for the third time, this time with Danny at level 90, and finally make it through Director Clavel. Now we move on to the battle against the leader of Team Star. No way! It's Penny! We start this intense battle against the leader of Team Star. Well, moving on. Now, with the least interesting storyline out of the way, we're gonna make our way to the Elite Four. We go ahead and bring Danny up to level 100 and get plenty of performance enhancers before challenging them, and honestly, we made it through all 4 of them pretty easily. Like, obviously, we had to pop potions at some point, but none of them really caused any problems. So, moving on past them, we make our way to challenge Gita. Now, let me be totally honest here. I think just about everyone thinks Gita is a pushover. I mean, who in the right mind on a champion team would have Go-Goat of all Pokemon? Like, it's not even from this region. What? Just gonna shove that onto the champions team for no reason? I don't get what they were thinking. Who knows? Maybe there's some lore behind it that I just am not aware of. But there was one Pokemon on her team that actually did jump scare me. Of all the Pokemon she could have had on her team, she had the one Pokemon that has traumatized me on this channel so far. Avalugg. Honestly, man, I was not prepared for this. I didn't know what her team had entirely. I knew she had a Go-Goat. I did not know she had an Avalugg. Last time I fought one of those, I had a Trevenant, and it still took me several tries to beat this Pokemon. And this time, I only have a Phantump. I was shook. I did not want to fight my way through the Elite Four again. At this point in the recording, I was 10 hours into this playthrough. And honestly, it was my 3rd separate day trying to get through this challenge because I had just started a new job at that time. I refuse to take Avalugg lightly ever again. So I use X items, I boost Danny's attack and defense quite a bit, I spam full restores, and get the satisfaction of obliterating this Avalugg with Horn Leech. It felt so nice. Anyways, with one more Poison Jab and Bulldoze later, we beat the champion, and we only have one more important battle in this arc. We just gotta face Nimona in an epic battle. Now, with only one more thing to do to finish Arven's Path of Legends arc, we enter the lighthouse and chat up with his mom, battle against Arven and his very good boy, and make our way to the gate to Area 0 to meet up with Arven, Nimona, and Penny. All to start the final arc in this game, the way home. On the final day of me recording this challenge, we go to enter Area 0, almost get left behind to fall to our death, before gliding all the way down into... We have a lot of dialogue to ignore, and a lot of Pokemon to evade. Also, we can make it all the way down to the depths of Area 0. At least, before they added the DLC. After getting jump scared by Koraidon number 2, and releasing a horde of Pokemon that could stampede an entire town, we go ahead and abandon all of our comrades, so that way we can get into the base, and get some alone time with Arven's Robo-Mom. What is this script? What if... We take the elevator down to enter this room that looks like an acid trip, before starting our battle with Arven's mom. I'll go ahead and let me from the recording take over for this battle, and then I've got a little something afterwards, so stick around. Okay. Let's do this. Professor Sada, the last battle of the game. Alright, first up, Slitherwing. I don't Terra. I Phantom Force. Lunge, neutral. Ooh, minus attack. That's gonna hurt. Phantom Force. Going Ghost on him. That's not enough. Well, he's just going to keep lunging me no matter what I do. So, I take the -1. I KO him. And then I heal up on Screamtail. Screamtail's got Iron... Screamtail's got Ice Punch, though. That's going to be annoying. I'm more of a special attacker, right? It'll be fine. Okay. 1 down. 5 to go. Fluttermane next. That's not Screamtail. What Screamtail got? Mystical Fire, Shadow Ball. Probably gonna go for Shadow Ball. I think now's the time to Terra. Let's be real. Shadow Ball's gonna hurt, but it's not gonna hurt that bad. I think I Phantom Force. Terra Grass, not be weak. Phantom Force, super effective. It'll definitely KO because you've only got 35 base defense. So like let's not kid ourselves here. Yep, Shadow Ball, called it. It'll do about 50, won't it? Phantom Force. Going Ghost again. Even at -2, like, I don't care. You're done. What's likely next? She'll probably save Roaring Moon for last, right? So, honestly, anything that comes out next is fine. Screamtail. Special, and the best thing you have is a physical move. Actually, everything is physical, so you must be like a mixed attacker. I just thought it always ran special moves. For Restore. Okay, 238. Ice Punch, how much does this do? It does about 60. Not bad, not bad. I think now is the time. That was a crit. Pathetic. Now's the time to get my attack back to neutral at least. Ice Punch. Danny. Alright, well, I guess I'm not doing anything else except for boosting my stats real quick. So let's just hit him with a defense. Most of the rest of your team... Actually, it's both physical and special, so... Like, it's nothing. It's nothing crazy that's gonna happen. Bag. Let's hit with the Spadef. After this full restore, then I should be able to just sweep the rest of your team, right? Wait, I'm just at neutral attack. Okay, I can live one more. Let's just get +2 attack, just to be safe. Because that Roaring Moon, that's going to be a rough one. Full restore. Here we are. What? Like, who even are you? I've got more than enough full heals, or full restores. Ice Punch? I swear, if you freeze me again, I'm going to lose my mind. Okay. Poison Jab. KO. Sweet. Sandy Shocks. That'll be a nice and Horn Leech, although you're faster than me. Barring crit, I should be good. Even then, you don't have any moves for me, do you? Power Gem, yeah. That's what I thought. Let's go. Bonnet, poison jab. Good thing I had X items. Otherwise, this could be really tricky. Here we are. Booster energy. That's your attack, right? Yeah. Not even worried. Actually, I'm kind of worried. What do I hit you with? Bulldoze, I guess? Dragon Claw? Ooh! Should I risk the crit? No, nah, I ain't doing it. No, you can't make me. Hyper Potion. Perfect amount of HP. Dragon Claw. If you'd have crit again, I'd have lost my mind. Bulldoze. You are still faster? And you went for a high crit move. That would have... I'd have lost it. And with that done... barring this last battle, it's not with Phantump, so I don't count it. If you want to see me do the DLC, I guess get this video to like, what, 50 likes? Like, something epic. And I'll run through the DLC with Phantump, starting from here. Obviously, I'm not starting at level 1, not with that DLC. Oh no. Before I wrap this video up, there's one more thing I want to do. It didn't feel right to end the video like this. Yeah, we beat the final boss, and yes, we got the credits, but there's one more thing that I wanted to do. So let me fulfill the thumbnail on this video with one last battle. Danny, come here. I got a score to settle with you, boy. Yeah, turn the sunlight harsh. I don't care. Hit him with that Phantom Force. Ha! Loser. Imagine. You can't even hit me, can you? You have Flamethrower. You definitely have Flamethrower. You can definitely hit me. What's your problem, man? Finish it off. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Danny. Bulk up. Oh! Sold. Sold. Danny, hit him with grit. You really can't hit me aside from Flamethrower. Alright, Danny. Now's your time. Go Ghost one more time. Yeah. Let's go! That wasn't hard at all. Maybe if you actually used Flamethrower. Well. Oh well. By the end of this challenge 8 months ago, I had 13 hours of footage to sort through for this. So I may have put it off a bit too long. Sorry about that. But here we are at the end of the video finally. Or the end of the video for now. As I mentioned earlier, there's DLC, so if you'd like to see it, make sure to subscribe to stick around, because I plan to do that at some point in the future. Hopefully it won't take another 8 months. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.